Hi all. I hope the quality is good enough to do a live chat here. Um, so, special day today. The past few weeks have been crazy, especially for Bitcoin Cash. It has dropped so much. It's incredible. Today the value is 100 US dollars. The peak was 4,150 US dollars almost 1 year ago. So it's down a lot at $250. Hi guys, welcome to the live chat. Today is a support group, emotional support group for those that are invested in crypto, have made a lot of losses, but actually if you did things right, it should be a happy day for you and you're buying today. But well, for me, that's not really the case. Even though I'm still planning to buy, it is painful. So Bitcoin Cash, I bought at 250 US dollars, a big amount. I raised my exposure from 20% crypto to 70% crypto, and today, well, that basically 50% of my portfolio I invested in Bitcoin Cash at $250, and 3 weeks later, it has gone down with 60% the value of Bitcoin Cash after dropping already 95%. And then I buy, and then it drops again at 60% in 3 weeks. It's crazy, huh? And not in my expectations, because Bitcoin Cash was a top 4 coin, and top 4 coins. I just looked it up in the crisis, the bear market of 2014. The top 4 coin was Peercoin. So you had Bitcoin, you had Ripple, you had Litecoin, and Peercoin. And I studied the first two, Ripple and Litecoin, to know how much they went down in the previous bear market. And one went down with 95%, the other one went down with 97%. And so that's why I actually put my lows for Bitcoin Cash at 95%, because I said, okay, Bitcoin Cash is also like a top 4 coin, top 3 coin. So it will drop a lot. How much? Well, let's look at the previous bear market. There it was like 95%. So I mean, normally we should actually not get that, because markets are a little bit less volatile than 4 or 5 years ago. But it seems that's not the case. It's still as volatile, and so 95% hit. But now it continued to drop, and we're now with Bitcoin Cash, 100 US dollars is a drop of 98%. I think this is just amazing, and it's beyond what I expected. And the bad news, of course, is that this bear market is not over, with Bitcoin at still 3,400 US dollars. Well, that's too high. Bitcoin, well, it's too high from the perspective that Kevin Svensson, which I think is a good bear market analyst, and he studied the volumes, and he says, well, the next volume, if 4,200 breaks, is 2,500 US dollars. So since 4,200 broke, like I'm just listening to him in that, and I also know like the expectation for the bear market to last is longer. It should be till the middle of 2019. If you just watch Trollo charts and previous cycles, bull bear cycles, they always become longer, and the bull market was long, the last bull market, and usually it takes 50% of that time. And so the last bull market started in 2015, 16, 17. It was 3 years bull market. So half that is 1 year and a half bear market. So that's why I always say middle 2019, because that's the most likely. But then also taking into account Kevin Svensson, his remarks, and also some other analysts that around 4,200 said like there is not enough volume. This is not the bottom, because the volume is lacking. And also it's true that actually until 6,000 everybody was still bullish, or the majority was still bullish. It's only when 6,000 broke that the majority was bearish, and immediately it went to 4,000. But usually actually the majority is right for quite a long time, and so the bear market, the majority only became bearish when 6,000 broke, and for them to find the bottom only 1-2 weeks later, when the majority just became bearish, is also not likely. So all these things point to a longer bear market, and that means that's very bad news for Bitcoin Cash, my favorite investment, because it's already at $100. It's already at minus 98%. how low will this go? Where do I put my buy orders to catch that bottom? And I decided to put it at 50 US dollars. I hope it doesn't hit soon, because then it probably will go lower. This should only hit by the middle 2019, when Bitcoin also hits about 2,000 US dollars. Okay, so let's look at the comments. This is a support group. I think these are very difficult times for crypto investors. And so if I can help anyone, please let me know in the chat. Hi, all, welcome. So I'm just gonna read the comments that I can comment on myself. Yes, man, you were wrong about BSV. That's very true, and I'm so sorry. I really underestimated Bitcoin SV, and yeah, I paid the price. I sold my SV for half the value it is today. And if I wouldn't have sold my SV, at least I wouldn't have made so much losses. So good for them, and I wish them all the best. But I'm sure it's not for me, this project. I really can't relate with the things that they do and the things that they say. They just started a lawsuit against Roger Ver and Jihan and even Kraken, like all the people that support Bitcoin Cash and the ABC version are now getting threatened with violence, because that's what a lawsuit is. It's basically using the state to initiate violence against another party, or to use the threat of violence to accomplish something. I really don't support this, but there's many other things I don't support. So I really wish them the best, and I think it's just very important as an investor to invest in something that you believe in. So actually, I don't feel bad about selling my BSV, and even though financially I would have done better not to. It's a very mixed feeling. Like, I was up all night. I am, of course, shocked with the losses, and also worried. What shall I do? Because I don't want to go broke. Life is very hard then. And these things, these fears come up. But that's why this is a support group to help each other, yeah, give emotional support in these tough times and make the right decisions. So I'm sorry. I hope the connection is good, because it just chopped out. Bye Monero, says the Monero fan here. Yeah, if you follow my Twitter, I really am frustrated with Monero. I have had very bad experience with some people from the Monero community that have been trolling and chilling. No, trolling and bullying proof of stake project, but also they have chosen the side of Bitcoin Core in the whole block size debate, and allowed transactions to explode also on their own chain. So I think some of these players in Monero and software and great cryptocurrency, I do think that they exaggerate their own qualities and really put down many other people with FUD, like false information, exaggerations. So that's why I can't support Monero, but I wish him also all the best. Buy fiat, this would be a very bad move to buy fiat today. That's the worst thing you can do, I think, is to sell your crypto for fiat. What you can always do is change from one crypto project to another, but even there, it's wrong to sell a crypto project that just went down a lot and buy a crypto project that did not go down a lot. I do think that's a mistake. And for example, Bitcoin Cash today went down a lot more than others. And I think one of the explanations, of course, is that basically the project split in two, or I would say not in two, but like 30% or so, or 20% of the community split off. That's my estimation, not more. Huh? And so due to that, 20% or 30% of the value of Bitcoin Cash went away to Bitcoin SV. Yeah, so I personally think that this will not hold the valuations that we see now. I think, and of course, that's always easy to say. The future will tell, but I think there's manipulation going on in the sense that there is buying to pump up the market value, but it will not hold because there will be too much selling pressure in the future for BSV, because all the holders, such as Jihan, who has 1 million coins, also in BSV. So the moment they start selling that, the price will dump again, I think. Aikido says, what do you think about stock market possible collapse and effect on crypto? I think this is all actually not so important. I did say 1 year ago that I think stock markets will have a hard time and affect crypto all now, and I do think when in bear cycles, the bear cycle started for crypto in January, but bear cycle for stock markets only started in February of this year. The stocks are slower, and so I think we will see first crypto go up strongly, and after that stocks also go up again. And I think this will happen in 2019 only. Mark, how about Tunterdili and France Hodl? Yes, guys, there is a fan group for my work, and I'm reading what they say, and it's funny, but it's in Dutch. But thanks so much for all the support, guys. I really appreciate it, and I hope you guys are also making the right moves to build your crypto portfolio. Parallel markets, sell the bounces and buy the dips. Sell in bear market, this is not my strategy, and buy in bull market also not. So that's why I'm buying today. I really like to buy when things go down, and not when they go up, but to each their own investment strategy. When you see the bullish signs, the bullish signs only come after the bull market has started, and the first part of the bull market, it actually looks still bearish. So I'm not looking for bullish signs. I'm looking for extremely bearish signs, blood on the street, desperation, anger, all these things, and that's what I really start to see strongly in the coins I'm following. Which is Bitcoin Cash and Byteball. But for Byteball, actually, it has been also terrible. But it seems that that the slaughter is there. Well, it has been so bad. But yeah, I also think Byteball, just like Bitcoin Cash and all others, will continue to go down. But I think there has to be a strong rebound here. But I've been seeing this already for many months, and it never happened. But I do think we need that for to find the blow only much later. But Mark, we love your honesty. Thank you so much. Expect BTC dominance to go to 80% before reversal. Wait patiently. Parlando says this. That would be a big surprise to me. We're now at 55%. I don't think we will reach 80%, but never say never, huh? Calvin will dump BSV soon. That's certainly possible. Hello, Black Hollow. Hello, everyone. Bitcoin SV has the vision. I don't agree with that. The vision there is that you should keep the protocol as is and basically lock it so that people can build on top of it. And I think that's just a very one-sided vision. That's not true. They always compare this then to a HTML protocol that is still the same and it worked very well. People build on top of it, yes, but we are actually not investing in protocols here. We're investing in cryptocurrencies. It's not a protocol, it's a cryptocurrency. And that means that actually it's a total package. That total package really needs to evolve and innovate. I strongly believe that in order to be on top of the market. This market is just the beginnings. And of course, backwards compatibility, making sure the people that build on top of your platform or on top of your cryptocurrency are well treated. That's extremely important. But changes are necessary. And maybe Bitcoin Cash is doing it too much every 6 months. Maybe it should be only once a year, but doing it not as V is promoting or as BTC also is promoting and doing. I don't believe in that. Hey, Dope Forever is here too. Nice to catch you live too, Dope Forever. And congrats with all your calls and great technical analysis. And congrats with your sale of BSV at current prices at a piece. That's really beautiful. I did not have the patience for that. I'm a fundamental investor, and for me, it's too risky to like play possibilities. It did come up on my mind that I should only sell them when they reach parity. But yeah, I prefer like how do you say, one bird in the hand better than 10 in the sky. And when I could sell it for half the value of BCH, I was very happy. But yeah. Oh, it's a bad connection. I'm sorry to hear, guys. Um, this is the year for buying. Yes, I believe so. Um, are you still all in? I was never all in. I was considering to go all in when Bitcoin Cash reached $250, but instead I raised it from 20% to 70% allocation, but not to 100%. And I still have that fiat left, and I put it in the order books for Bitcoin Cash around $50, and I hope it hits. But I hope it hits only next year, because if it hits already the next month or so, then probably it will go lower, and I will sit on more losses. Wooz. So if every coin is following BTC, why not watch BTC only, buy the bottom and then trade it for BCH and others? Yes, that makes sense. It's typical during a bear market that Bitcoin goes down the least and gains market dominance, and is also the first to go back up in the bull market, and then you can use it to buy other coins. It's true, but for me, yes, I'm a fundamental investor. For me, it just feels way too risky to do that. Past performance is the best indicator of future performance, but it's not a guarantee. And so, if I invest in something that I don't believe in, like Bitcoin, BTC, I think it's poorly managed. And so, if I invest in that and then things go wrong, let's say there is some kind of bug that causes more coins, or there is a catastrophe, then I will then it will drop very hard in value, and I will also probably have weak hands and maybe make the big mistake of selling a bad moment. And that's what happens when you don't have strong hands. You make mistakes, and so that's why I only invest in Tivin, even though I know that they will likely go down more during the bear market. I do prefer to hold it, because I will not of selling it when it goes down a lot, but instead I will just buy more of it. That's what I'm doing. Hi all, welcome to the live support group. It's quite something. The crypto markets are really incredible to see the carnage that's going on. We're also right now at 110 billion market cap, and that's right now I think it's 255 billion is the trend line of Trololo. So we are at an undervaluation of more than 50%. It's close to 60%, and yeah, I think that if it would continue to drop here to the 2,500 range for Bitcoin or more, then I actually really think then of course Bitcoin Cash will also drop to $50 or lower. That's likely. And then I do think we have hit the bottom, and I will do again a bottom call the bottom, because that would mean that also the undervaluation, the market cap would go down from the current 110 billion to about 70 or 80 billion, and I think that's gonna be the low. So if that would happen over the next few weeks, months, then I too think we've seen the low, and that means that sooner than expected. But yeah, that's possible. But if we go sideways from here or up again, which is actually really expected now that we go up again for a while, then I think we have not seen the bottom yet, and we will go down. I'm sorry for the. So yeah, now or not, it's easy. Before we could sell $6,000, and we were still at Trollo to say like, okay, to buy, because we're still at fair to under. But right now that's really not so easy anymore to say, And that means, well, we're in undervaluation, so it's a good time to buy. It can become a better time to buy later, but it is a good time to buy, and for the long term, if you are willing to invest for a couple of years, you will probably do very, very well, and that's of course great if you have some fiat. Let's watch the comments. Parlando, markets are always exaggerating. Fundamentals for all coins are good. The price reacts parabolic. It has to crash now. We are too close. Price has nothing to do with fundamentals. Yes, I agree with that. Um, I don't believe that the market is efficient. I don't believe that things are valued correctly. That's only a very small time that it is valued correctly for the most part. And that's like 90% of the time it's either overvalued or undervalued. That creates opportunity. Sorry for the bad connection. I hope it's going to be better here. I'll give it a try. So, let me check the chat. I went all in to Bcash a week ago. I'm fucking wrecked. So I know that when people call Bitcoin Cash Bcash, that they are either very poorly informed or hostile to the coin. So I think you should inform yourself better, Josh, before you invest in something. Adam Cook says that this guy sold out Bitcoin at 2K on the way up. What makes you think you know the future in any meaningful capacity? Oh, so Adam Cook says about me that I sold Bitcoin at 2K on the way up, and so that was a big mistake. And so why should I have any knowledge? Well, it's true that I did make the mistake to sell a Bitcoin at 2K in the middle of 2017, and I went to a minority crypto, and I was wrong. And I realized that I admitted that I was wrong at 5K, and I went back to a majority crypto, and I did the whole ride up to, well, 18K, 20K, and then it dropped to 17K, 16K, and then I called the top, and I was right about that. So sometimes I do make mistakes, and that's just part of investing. And I made a mistake again recently to call the bottom at 4,400, and well, the next day I had to admit I was wrong, and I called a new bottom, which is now at 2,000 US dollars. But I made many other calls at the same time. I called that alts would correct a lot versus Bitcoin in the middle of 2017, and that did happen. And actually, when Bitcoin went up from 2K to 5K, I was a minority crypto, I was majority fiat, but many of the alts actually did not go up in the meantime, and I was able to buy Bitcoin Cash and Byteball, for example, at that time for the same price than I had I exited alts a couple of months before. So yeah, sometimes you yeah, for my portfolio it was not too much damage and missed opportunity. I'm mostly in BTC, but always try to force me to have different perspectives. It is hard for me to trust Roger and Gihando. Yeah, I don't understand that. There is a lot of distrust versus Roger Ver and Jihan Wu is his last name, I think. But for me, track record is everything. That's the only thing you can really use. Like, you can trust based on like a first impression, but that has much less foundation than trusting based on what they did in the past. And for me, someone like Roger Ver has the best track record that is available in the cryptocurrency world. He was the first investor in Bitcoin to really bet it all on Bitcoin, to promote it day in, day out, everywhere he went, and really got the word out of Bitcoin. He was the first to do that, and he convinced so many other people that really started it, because before it was just some programmers working on it and playing with it. So you don't know how these things go, and actually maybe it's thanks to his evangelism of Bitcoin at the time that Bitcoin broke through. It could be that if he was not there, that it would not have like been spread into the libertarian communities, which he put into which he did, and that really got the buying started. Let's say if it wouldn't have done, maybe the CIA would have instead of inviting the lead dev at the time, Gavin Andresen, to come speak about Bitcoin, well, maybe they would have decided to arrest him and not invite him, and take down the Bitcoin initiative. That could have been possible. So, I mean, popular support from people is what keeps politicians from attacking something. Sometimes, and so I think also, yeah, the timing was very important there. But anyway, I think Roger Ver has done so much for the cryptocurrency community and for Bitcoin that he has a very strong track record. It's not only about crypto; it's also about liberty. He has always helped the Free Ross campaign with lots of money and lots of exposure, and so many other initiatives for freedom he has supported. So for me, has an extremely strong track record. The same as Jian Wu, this person has built from the start the biggest mining business in Bitcoin. That's a big thing to achieve. The biggest suppliers of mining equipment. I mean, that's a very tough industry. You have to believe hard in this industry to become the dominant player. This is a very challenging thing to do, and he succeeded in that. And you can just find his presentations on the internet, his vision on Bitcoin. I think it's very good, a very smart guy. And yeah, just amazing. Like what a track record. He's gonna do an IPO, and that will probably be the biggest IPO in China ever, and maybe even in the world. And that's with a Bitcoin mining business. So you have to do this. All this is amazing accomplishments. So I really trust these guys, and I think the vision of Jian Wu on Bitcoin is very good. He was always against high transaction fees and allowing and not scaling on chain. And his vision was that actually Bitcoin should also allow assets, also offer privacy. And this is what Bitcoin Cash BCH is executing now. So I really am also fully in line with that. So sorry, but all the people that are like bashing on Roger Ver and Jian Wu, look at these people, their own reputation. What did they do in the past? How did they help crypto and freedom move forward in the world? Individual freedom. Like, sorry, but I think it's really not justified, all this bad mouthing. Okay, thanks all for joining. I hope you're all not hurting too much with the crypto bear market and still have fiat to buy to build your future. I had 30% fiat, but because my crypto collapsed so much again, now I have 40% fiat or 45%, and I plan to buy that if Bitcoin Cash goes to $50. Nice location, Mark. Yes, I'm in Uganda here. Uganda, I've never been here, and it's so beautiful. It's like jungle everywhere because they have lots of rain. It's very close to Congo, and so lots of forests. It's very, very green here, very beautiful. But it's Africa, so a lot of poverty, but very surprisingly amazing roads, like better roads than in Belgium. So Africa is also evolving. But such beautiful animals. Went to see the gorillas. It's so beautiful in the jungle, and the chimpanzees. Really amazing. Have you ever suffered a significant loss of your net worth? Certainly. I have gone down a lot now. Huh? I'm down 80% since the all-time high 1 year ago. So I'm starting to feel it too. Do you see it possible that BCH falls to 20 US dollars? I think that's too much, but never say never. But yeah, you do have to put an estimation if you want to try to buy the bottom, and I think that will be too low. But I do think 50 US dollars will be hit, but I could be wrong also. It went a lot higher as expected, Dimi says. It will drop lower as everyone expects. The ride of crypto is great. It's very true. Huh? What we're seeing now is the same as in the bull market. It always goes much higher than you expect. And the same is happening now with crypto. It goes just much lower than you expect. Even though your mind can see it ahead, like, yeah, 100 billion market cap, that's realistic to achieve. But it all goes faster than I expected. Um, tax losses. This is only for people that have pay capital gains taxes, and then it makes sense to sell something for a loss. Another example of how taxes well destroy wealth. Huh? Didn't Roger Ver back Mt. Gox shortly before it went bust? This alone makes him very untrustworthy, in my opinion, says Chris. That's true. He didn't back it, but he did say that he believes that Mt. Gox is solvent, and that turned out not to be true, and that was a wrong call from him, and that's true. But I mean, I would say that Roger Ver is not a hero in admitting his mistakes. So, to my knowledge, he never admitted that he was wrong there. But of course, he was clearly wrong. Huh? But yeah, who's perfect in this world? Are you? Because I'm certainly not. So wrong calls, everybody makes them. Roger Ver too, and I do not think that destroys all his other achievements. Um, I cannot trust people that I do not know personally. How can you know that they are not just playing the market? Well, actually, I mean, if that's not true what you're saying. You're always trusting many people that you have never met personally. That's how humans work. They judge people based on what they see on TV or on the internet. You use your own judgment. Always, you can't even avoid giving that. Huh? So, um, Parlando says that I will never trust Roger Ver or Craig Wright to hold my money. I don't trust humans. That's the reason why I only invest in Bitcoin. That's real decentralization. I'm really sorry, Parlando, but Bitcoin itself, Bitcoin BTC, is also dependent on humans. It's not decentralized when it comes to the development, not at all. Huh? It's just a few people there that decide what will be implemented in the Bitcoin core client and what not. And you are fully dependent on their decisions for your future value of Bitcoin. And that's the same in actually it's less the case in BCH, Bitcoin Cash, where you have like 5 different development teams, one more active than the other, but they all come together to make decisions about what will be implemented for the next upgrade. So I do think the development is much more decentralized in Bitcoin Cash than it is in Bitcoin BTC. And actually, Roger Ver has no influence on what's being implemented in Bitcoin BTC, for example. Like he never had influence on that with Bitcoin BCH, I mean, but also never had influence with that with Bitcoin BTC. Like that was never his field. His field has always been marketing. Mark, are you afraid at all of being kidnapped coming to Africa, or is that fear overstated? Well, I think it's overstated. Just in general, the fear of Africa is overstated. Of course, life is much harder here and life is cheaper here. And there is much more crime. But that's in the poor regions where life is also a struggle. You will see more crime. There are many slums here. But and of course there are much safer places in the world, that's true, but a lot more depends on your personal decisions. Who do you have in your personal life? If you are really like a very like if you are very careful who you do let in your life, you are much safer anywhere in the world. You can act like an idiot in the safest places in the world and get in the biggest trouble ever. So it's really dependent on who you allow in your life and your personal care. So what are your targets for BTC and EOS? I don't follow EOS. BTC I mentioned before. It's 2,000 US dollars. Coco Bombo, hi Coco, nice to see you. So Mark, space is now much bigger than before. That is why people like Roger, Jihan, Andreas will be less and less relevant over time. Yeah, many professionals are starting interesting projects. That's very true, Coco. That's very true. The space is becoming much bigger, but yeah, in every space you see that that some people from very small become very big, and usually they are present since the start of the industry. For example, with internet, well, it was Larry Page with Google that became very big, and they were present already in 1996, 97. They started. But it's only 10 years later that became clear that they were the winners. And who else? For the internet, Amazon. Jeff Bezos was also active since 1995 and became the winner later on. But in the beginning, these are just small players, and actually other players are much bigger. In 1995, 96, the winners were Netscape and AOL and Yahoo. They were like seen as probably going to be the winners, but they all lost out to these other smaller players. So I do think that that something like Bitcoin Cash, someone like Roger Ver and Jihan Wu will have the potential to be really leaders of the crypto space going forward. Continue to be leaders and become leaders, because Bitcoin Cash, for example, the path they chose and it's also chose, is not a leader right now, it's an underdog. So if you're betting on that, I think that's a much better bet to take than betting on the current leaders, which is Bitcoin. I do think that's not the right bet to take here. I'm quite confident that they will not succeed in remaining leaders, even though they have the network effect in their favor, but still I don't think they will succeed in it. Do you have any audiobook recommendations for investments and manhood? Audiobooks, yeah, I don't know, but I think check my list of YouTube channels that I like. Just go to my channel, and then you see my favorite channels on the right, and there I have several channels that I really like for investment and also for dating and manhood. And I will add one more, so maybe check it tonight or tomorrow, because there is one I forgot to add. Coco. The Aussie Drama says, hey Mark, hey Al, welcome to the chat, 87 people, honored. And yeah, today is a support group for all the losses made in crypto, and I hope that you're all still yeah, buying your favorite coins. I trust Roger, but CSV is an obvious fraud. He's a pro-government shill. I agree with that. I think Dash will be a good buy as well. What do you think about this, Mark? All the best, says Fergie. Well, Dash goes back a long time. It was started as Darkcoin in 2013. And since the start, I had problems with it, because Ivan Duffield, he did a Instamine or a pre-mine, and then called it an accident. But that allowed him to start with a big stash. And in the beginning, I was like, yeah, I was like conflicted about it. On one hand, I thought, yeah, that was hypocritical, but on the other hand, I thought that of course founders need to have a big stash in their coin, and the way Bitcoin was started, that's not, you can't start like that anymore, and give all the coins basically to miners, and not to and as a founder have no coins. So I understood where he was coming from and why he did that also. But today, looking how Dash has evolved, and they have done many great innovations. They have a real business model. A piece of their coins goes to pay for development and marketing. I think that's great, and they have a quite healthy community with a lot of people are motivated and evangelize it and work for it and get paid by it. And some people that really like believe in crypto and have only Dash and spend Dash everywhere, like Joel, a good friend. But for me, it just doesn't feel right. I never could pull the trigger on investing in Dash because I don't want to line Ivan Duffield his pockets. I'm not here to enrich him. And that's what I feel that I do when I support Dash. And why do I don't want to support him? Because he's a hypocrite. He's not fair. He's not honest. He has never been honest about what he did in the beginning there. He first says it's an accident, and then later he's like, yeah, but it's good that founders have a big stash, and so basically he's admitting that it was not an accident, but it's not really admitting to it. Huh? So I think that's hypocritical, and so I can't trust him. I think he's actually, in a way, very comparable to Bill Gates, who of course made it very far, but has also played ugly at times in business, and so yeah. But okay, I mean, if he turns out to be the next Bill Gates, then well, you better invest in his coin. Huh? But I don't do that, and I mean, I'm confident that if I invest in things I believe in, that I will do well too. Sonic says XRP, the greatest digital asset ever created, Ripple. Well, I have no interest in Ripple whatsoever, so I wish you good luck with that. Any opinion about Tezos, Mark? No, I never followed the project. Is there any point to buy Byteball right now? Yes, if you don't have any yet, I certainly think it's because if you buy bytes, you can buy with that black bytes, who are extremely cheap now. The total market cap of Byteball is a 20 million or so, or 30 million. But the total market cap of the black bytes, which is another coin in the Byteball network, is only 1 million US dollars. And actually, Byteball is a privacy coin, and I think it creates privacy in a very different way. And so instead of like trying to hide things on the public blockchain by mixing it or by encrypting it, it does not even use it's not sent over a public blockchain. It's sent from device to device, but it is hooked into a public blockchain. But that's basically another chain. It's the bytes where bytes are used, and so there is yeah, I mean, it's not even available on the blockchain, and so it's only available between the players that send bytes to each other. So it's a very different way to create privacy, and I think it might be in the future very successful. And it's extremely cheap. So you buy bytes now, you can start buying black bytes, and bytes themselves are already a good hold. And even though I do think the bottom for Byteball will be later, maybe in only 1 year or 2 years, it's always good to buy some coins to get started following a project. I think Byteball is very interesting. Development is continuing to be strong, and marketing, and so I think they do a great job, and it's worthwhile to start follow that. All right. Hi all. Let's see to the questions. Okay. How much does it cost to live in your area in Africa? I know it depends on, but in general. Well, in general, if you want to live the Western lifestyle, you do pay the Western prices in Africa. So you're not actually cheaper off, I think. But you have opportunities that you don't have in the West. For example, for me, finding a young, beautiful girls that want to have babies with me is much more easy here than in the West. just woke up, says Guillermo. Hey, Dope Forever says, hey, Mark, can you talk about the recent lawsuit against Roger and Jihan? Do you think anything will come out of it? Um, well, I really don't have much knowledge about the legal system, but it. I personally am not afraid of something like that. I would not be want to be in Roger Ver and Jian Wu's shoes because it's always a nightmare to get a lawsuit against you. But yeah, I think these people are very intelligent and will just hire some good lawyers and that will keep the other party busy in court. But I don't see it as a concern. I just it validates my initial gut feeling that Greg Wright is up to no good, and that I mean people that start lawsuits usually are not the winning party in the end. You saw that also in, um, in the internet bubble in the 90s. There were some parties that used the legal system to try to break Microsoft or yeah, like Sun Microsystems, for example, and, and Netscape and yeah, they all tried to use the legal system to attack Microsoft, and of course, in the end, they did succeed in breaking down Bill Gates because they succeeded in having Bill Gates had to come to court, just like is it Jeff? Who is it recently? Yeah, also like Mark Zuckerberg recently was also dragged in front of court and humiliated. Huh? They did that also with Bill Gates in 2000, humiliate them in front of TV and in court and to break the monopoly as they call it. But of course, that's not the real monopoly. The real monopoly is the state itself here. These are just businesses gaining market share. Yeah, so of course it can be a big fight for Roger Ver and Jihan Wu. Yeah, I have full confidence that they are yeah, talented enough to not let them lose the fight that way. The big danger with lawsuits is that you lose too much energy on it, and that's how you also end up losing the business. With Bill Gates, basically after they did that to him, he gave up his CEO position to his friend Steve Ballmer, and actually that was a terrible decision because Steve Ballmer did a terrible job the next 10 years. But of course he's to blame himself too, Bill Gates, because he had built Steve Ballmer as a second man also for decades, and so basically Bill Gates also paid the price there for a mistake he made on his own. But yeah, that's the big risk here. That's why I would never do lawsuits in my personal life. I would rather just take the loss because all the energy you lose in that is not worth it. So but I do think they are very well aware of that, and they will not lose that way their energy. Kuopio asks me what I think about Richard Hart. Well, Richard Hart is a fun character, but not a very good investment advisor, I think. Yeah, he has made very bad calls, and he does not admit to that. Huh? So that's not good to follow, I think. Maybe I should just say something about crypto prices. Well, I think that yeah, we shouldn't be discouraged by what we see. It's of course painful to lose a lot of money, and I do not believe in the story that you only lose money when you sell. No, you really lost it because yeah, and the same, you don't have to make money, you sell to make money. When the value of your property goes up or down, you win or lose money, and so yeah, we all lost a lot of money now. But yeah, that's yeah, if you want to buy crypto cheap, on the other hand, that's exactly what needs to happen. Huh? So if you did a good job, then you still have fiat to buy, and actually that's good news. If you did a bad job and you only had crypto, then well, you can learn a lesson now, an important lesson. Or if you have hodled crypto for a very long time and you were at 100x profit and now only at 10x, well, you know, you're probably not watching this video, and you're a happy man sitting back somewhere. Um, let's look at the other questions. Um, Mark, how do you manage dating while also trying to become a better trader? Do you find women are accepting of your endeavors? Well, actually, I'm having two girlfriends now, and I'm working on a third one, and one baby that just came. So I do have my hands full, and for me, I'm not an expert in girls. I have actually not dated from my 20 till my 35 or so. So so it is a challenge for me too. Girls can, yeah, are very different species than man, and will express their yeah. They say create a lot of drama, but that's not a nice way to say. But yeah, bring up issues and be not happy and complain and even can be mean and yeah, that's something I really have to learn to deal with. Check my YouTube favorite list. There's one guy, Brad Mills, or that I really like about that. Like it's important to respond correctly to that. And in the past, I would take it very serious and yeah, you have to find the right balance there. But being continuing to be pleasant and supportive and not take it too serious because that's just their communication style. But but at the same time, you should never let yourself be treated as a doormat, and so you should put a limit somewhere that well that you don't want yeah that you're not accepting of it and that she needs to be nice, otherwise she's gonna spend less time with you, huh? So that's all very important, but it's not easy. I mean, I'm also a workaholic. I love to work, and of course that's all time not spent on the girl. So it's not easy, but it's a beautiful life nonetheless. Um, but I do think as a man that well. The way you need to do things is to build yourself first, and so all the young ladies, when you're young as a man, all your the girls of your age that you like, that you want, they all choose older man, and that's because, well, they want men that are settled. They want a man that has the financial ability to take care of them, that they can look up to, and also emotionally it is more grown than them, and can be there as a support. That's why, as a man, when your girl is emotionally yeah, is an emotional roller coaster, you need to be there as a support, and so not become emotional yourself. Like, this is what girls are looking for. But that's frustrating as a young man, because there are basically no girls for you, and you basically need to focus on building yourself as a man. So I think that's the job of a man when he's young, and then later, when he has built himself financially and emotionally. I did many years of therapy actually to become more healthier emotionally. Then you can get many girls once you have that confidence, and you approach the girls you find attractive with confidence. You can get many, and young girls you can get many, and that's really beautiful. And I'm very happy I got there in my life, because I could have died before that. Um, but yeah, it's a resource game in many ways, and so uh, it's possible for me to have different girlfriends, because I don't. Well, even though I'm a workaholic, uh, I I I do can work whenever I want, and I make enough money to maintain all these relationships. I also don't believe, for me, I'm not looking for girls that can pay the bills. No, I pay all the bills myself, and that's totally okay for me. But I also expect my girls to do much of the work when it comes to yeah, raising the babies and taking care of the house. Even though I do help there too, but like, yeah, I don't like this, like, let's do 50-50 of the bills and 50-50 of taking care of the kids. No, that's not for me. um, so what else do we have here? um, Mark, why do you think technically ABC is better than SV? Well, SV has done one commit since October. How can that be technically better if you're not working on it? But the vision, check this video later again. The vision, I don't agree with SV versus ABC. Um, Uncle Peter, do you think decentralized smart contracts have any real world usage? I'm gonna have to get out of the sun here. I'm gonna get burned by Africa. But where shall I sit? Maybe I can sit in the shadow there. I hope the connection stays good here. So, let's take a look. Decentralized smart contracts. Is that a good application? Yes. I do think that's great. It's going to be a slow build. It's like interactivity. Interactivity was the big buzzword for when internet in the 90s. What makes a good website? It's a website that you can interact with, because the early websites were actually all videos. So people were building videos, but actually a website should not be a video. It should be like a thing that you can interact with. And but it takes time for great interactive websites to evolve, and the latest interesting thing has been Facebook, that is like very interactive, very social, but that takes time before that evolves out of such a system. It took 20 years for something like Facebook to start. So smart contracts, you can do so much with it, and it starts with very simple things. Like in case of the internet, it was a buy and sell website, eBay, or buy books on Amazon. That's interactive, but simple. The same happens now. You have simple smart contracts that you already see emerge. For example, in Byteball, when you are actually trading black bytes, actually these are all smart contracts. So it's a decentralized exchange. It's all smart contracts, but that's very smartly done. You have some very low counterparty risk or no counterparty risk, and you are trading with each other. So this is just one application, but you will have many others in there. Indeed, like you say, Uncle Peter, in finance and legal, insurance, all these things will evolve with many years, and yeah, it's a slow process. But the first killer app of crypto is money, and I think that's what I'm fighting for. Bitcoin Cash, I really think has a chance, but all others too. I have to admit that, of course. Dash is doing a big job, also, and Monero too, and you have many smaller ones, Pivix. So many are trying to become money, but yeah, I do think Bitcoin Cash has a good chance to become that. But right now, it's time to prepare for me in this bear market to really help on that level by becoming 100% invested, and then start to really spend Bitcoin Cash in my case, because that's really missing. You can convince a lot of merchants easily to start accepting crypto, like Dash is doing in Venezuela. But you also need people that spend crypto with these merchants, otherwise they will disappear over time. This was the problem with Bitcoin at the time. Like, you had many people convincing merchants to start accepting Bitcoin, but once the bear market starts, these merchants don't see any Bitcoin sales, and so after a while they just stop accepting it. This has been a problem with Bitcoin. And so what you really need is people that are convinced and willing to spend crypto. And that's a very small segment of the crypto world. And most people are just investing financially and don't touch their crypto, just leave it there, and are in it just to make money. But actually, it won't work that way, because it will not be adopted. So you really need a driven community that really insists on using crypto, and favors merchants that accept crypto over other merchants, and are willing to take a loss here of maybe 2, 3, 4%, by paying in crypto. But you need that, otherwise it won't happen. And that's why I really believe in Bitcoin Cash, because Bitcoin BTC has no such community. Most people believe there that actually you shouldn't be using Bitcoin for payments, and it's okay to be just a store of value, and just to use your credit card to make payments. That's the easiest. And I have lived that way too, but that's not really helping the ecosystem very much. So with Bitcoin Cash, I see that most of the people that really are motivated to live the crypto lifestyle have moved to Bitcoin Cash and a few to Dash. But for example, I never saw someone in Monero doing that, insisting on paying with Monero everywhere. No. So, but I think this is a very important aspect for a crypto to become successful. So that's why I still believe strongly in Bitcoin Cash, because I see most people that are thinking that way are available there. Hi all, hi New Age, hi Bayan. Um, um, Cuopio thinks that the Bitcoin Cash market cap will go down like the Bitcoin Gold market cap to almost zero. But I don't think that's gonna be the case. You have to stay reasonable in a bear market and also stay reasonable in a bull market. And there is only so much something can go up, and there is only so much something can go down. And for Bitcoin Cash, we're already at minus 98%. I mean, it cannot get much worse. It can get a little bit worse, but not much. So you have to stay reasonable here. And I do think Bitcoin Cash is already a very good buy. So people are wondering why Bitcoin SV is pumping. Well, I underestimated them. I did not think they would ever succeed in doing that, but they succeeded in becoming bigger in market cap than Bitcoin or BCH. And yeah, kudos to them, congrats to them. So it's clear that they have a lot of money to throw at this. But that doesn't mean it's going to be a success. I remember that you have so many projects that have pumped to the top 10, pumped to the top 5 even, and are gone. So be careful with that. So let's see at the other questions. The sound is low, yeah? I'm sorry for that. Well, Dash marketing is ugly, says someone here. It has it's like commerce on steroids. Their company spirit is appealing. Look, yeah, I think Dash is indeed taking a company approach more, but I don't think that's bad actually. I think that's very smart. It's gonna become more and more of a business. But yeah, I'm questioning whether they will have enough people to support all these Venezuelan merchants that now pop up. Like, who's gonna pay with Dash there? Who can hold Dash? Like Venezuelans, are they Dash holders? And if they are Dash holders, are they gonna spend their Dash with merchants? I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case. So I think the big thing that they're overlooking there is to build from the ground up. And building from the ground up means you need both merchants and you need both hodlers and spenders. And I think Dash is missing that, but I could be wrong. And also, I think that a crypto should be promoted not in the third world, but in the first world. Like in the third world, in Venezuela or Africa, people don't have savings. They don't have savings. They live from paycheck to paycheck. If they have a paycheck, and you know how many people have a paycheck? Less than 10%. So 90% of people have no paycheck at all, and they hustle in small jobs that they can find left and right, and most people don't have any kind of income and depend on other people. So thinking that a first world technology, the most advanced technology, will break through in the third world is, I think, very naive. They say, yeah, but the mobile phone broke through in Africa immediately and they skipped landlines. That's true. But where did the mobile phone break through first? It was in the first world, where some rich businessman really wanted a mobile phone and were willing to pay 100 times more for a mobile phone than for a normal landline, and pay bills that are 1,000 times higher than a normal landline just to be able to call from anywhere. And that's what you need. Is very rich people to basically get a new technology going, because you need to pay very high prices for new technology. And it's the same in cryptocurrency. Who can push crypto? It's not people that are hungry. They don't have time for that. They don't have time for that at all. They're never gonna hodl crypto. They're never gonna pay 5% more to be able to pay in crypto somewhere. No. So you have to go to the first world, and I think Bitcoin Cash does that very well with Roger Ver in Japan. That's the first world, and America and Europe, that's the first world. You have to start there and get things going. If you can't get it started there, forget the third world. Thoughts on Hashgraph? Hashgraph was mentioned by Tony of Byteball as a very innovative, different way to build a blockchain or to build a cryptocurrency. He mentioned Hashgraph, and only for that reason I'm interested in the project, because yeah, Tony is a very smart guy. But I haven't invested in it yet. My plan is still to invest only in the Bitcoins now during the bear market, and then wait for the market to go sideways and start going up again. I think the biggest coins will go up first, Bitcoin BTC first, but Bitcoin BCH is also one of the big coins. Is that so? I will have to check market cap, but yesterday that was the case. But so the bigger coins, I think, will pump first, and so that's why I invest in Bitcoin Cash first, and later I will diversify to projects like Hashgraph and Byteball and other Spivix. That's my plan, but only in 1-2 years' time. Coco Bombo is saying here that don't you think that you should wait for a blockchain to first gain users before you invest in it? Yeah, but that doesn't work that way. I do think that crypto, like many new economies, first grow based on speculation and only later get adoption. It was true with the bulbs, the tulip bulb bubble, so famous from 1600, the first bubble. Actually, that was speculation on tulip bulbs. Why? Because they saw great potential in it. And indeed, even though the bubble collapsed, today the Netherlands is the biggest exporter of tulip bulbs in the world. Every day planes are flying all over to sell tulips. So, but it's the same with, for example, land in America, in the West. They were still living in the East, but the West was opened up thanks to railroads. And the first thing that happened was people buying up, after they got rid of the Indians, buying up the land from one another and pumping up prices. And only after the prices went up a lot did the common people come and also bought a piece of land at much higher prices. And you had real adoption. But the first phase is always, or with oil fields, like the first phase, or with internet companies, they went up a lot in value from 1990 till 2000, even though there were barely any users. And then you had the big collapse, and then the users came. The same will happen with crypto. And so the question is, do we have another bubble coming before we have like the real adoption coming? And I think that's going to be the case. We've seen how that went in the past. Bubble is very unique in that with internet, for example, you had only one big bubble growing from the 80s, 90s, and then collapsing. And then later, some companies that really had adoption broke through. But in crypto, you have these cycles of bubble, bust, bubble, bust, bubble, bust much faster. And I think that's because it's a real financial asset. It's a different kind of thing than companies. It's currencies. And it's a new asset class. Like internet companies were not a new asset class. It was just a new economy, a new innovation, just like railroads at the time, or canals, or TVs, or radios, or automobiles from Japan. Like you always have these like new kind of economy, but it's still stocks. It's still one asset class. But now we really have the emergence of a new asset class, which is cryptocurrencies. It belongs in the asset class of currencies, but it's a massive innovation in the world of currencies, which was totally monopolized by state currencies and with no innovation at all for hundreds of years. And so right now we see just like an existing asset class currency is just completely like innovating, and so that's why well, it's a different asset class than stocks, and so it's a different cycle. It boom bust much faster than in stocks, but yeah, we will get very likely another boom that will again attract more people into the industry to speculate, not to use, but to speculate. But of course, when you speculate on something, you want to see if there's real adoption or signs of real adoption. That's going to give you much more trust to speculate onto something. Just what internet companies at the time, it was very smart to look at actual real usage when you invest in these companies. And so that's why I think with Bitcoin Cash there is actually a problem. The amount of transactions went down a lot, but I think it's due to the hash war, where many exchanges stopped accepting Bitcoin Cash withdrawals and deposits, and so yeah, that of course causes a collapse in amount of transactions, and that's now building up again. But yeah, there is a strong well, a war is not easily won for Bitcoin Cash. There's a lot of opposition. Many exchanges still call Bitcoin Cash BCH ABC, as if BCH does not exist anymore. And some haven't even started transactions yet. So that's how it goes. I have to not call too long anymore. So I'm gonna close it down. I will finish the chat questions and then we will end it. So I plan now to jump into ship that will gain some new users over time and hope that price will follow. Without new users, there will be no new rise of alts. Is Mombo. Hitchlab, Mark, you have to address BCV pump and future of it sooner. Yeah, I just did. Dimi, thanks for sharing your story. Always inspirational. Enjoy your stay in Africa. When back to the grey Belgium? In January, I will be back in Belgium shortly. You bought BCH too soon. Yes, I did. BTC and crypto spec to fiat defeats their purpose. Totally agree. New age. No, ICE 32,000. Mark, are you worried about the stock market? No. What do you think will be the low of BTC? I think it will 2,000, and BCH I will think it will be 50 US dollars. If the stock market crashes, yes, but I think I answered this before. Check the video after we finish. Aren't you afraid, Mark, of venereal diseases? I mean, dating many girls in Africa. Yeah, so like AIDS, HIV, it's really bad here. It's really bad indeed. But I mean, HIV is easily preventable. You don't have unsafe sex with someone that has not been tested. And actually, I'm very selective. I only have a few girlfriends. I don't. Well, I mean, I'm very secure and safe with that. Do you have any business that generates you a constant cash flow to buy crypto as Cupio? No, I don't. Let's see, Arthur. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about BSV anymore. I talked a lot about it already. Yes, please like the video, guys. Smash the likes. 90 people in here and only 20 likes. Come on, guys. Yeah, it helps to that other people watch the video if you click like, if you like it, of course. Lightning Networks is Parlando. Will open all the gates for payment. Possible to spend 1 Satoshi on the high security of the small blocks of Bitcoin. Yes, Lightning Network seems to catch on, so good for them. But yeah, it's not for me. Hi, Palatina says, hi, I just blended in. Will Bitcoin ABC be rebranded to Bitcoin Cash in the future? You see, like people think that Bitcoin ABC exists and then will rebrand it to Bitcoin Cash. Yes, of course, because Bitcoin ABC does not exist. It only exists in some exchanges the way they choose to name it, but actually what's behind it is Bitcoin Cash. Once they open deposits and withdrawals, your Bitcoin ABC will be going to the Bitcoin Cash, is part of the Bitcoin Cash blockchain. So it's already the case that Bitcoin ABC, even though they call it ABC, it's actually Bitcoin Cash. Huh? Kuopio says that your big problem is that your heart has to be involved with the project. That is not rational, he says. And at the end of the day, you should not care about the project if it makes you money. I really don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. I think it's very beautiful to follow your heart and very smart to follow your heart. Also, when you choose a partner, your heart can tell you things that your mind cannot. Your mind can say, well, she's beautiful and actually she's nice and she's smart and so she's a good partner. But if you listen to your heart, it can say something very different. That actually she's maybe not a good person and maybe you shouldn't be trusting her and maybe you should just look further. Like that's very important. Hey babe. Sarah is here, my love. Do you want to be on the video too? Huh? Come sit here. Come sit here. It's a live video chat, so people can say things. Huh? People can say things. Wait, shall we sit here? Oh, let's sit here.
Yeah, it's much
Yeah, sit here, sit here. I think that's good. That's good. So, but I'm answering the questions. So, guys, if you have a question for Sarah, you can always ask. But yeah, I was talking that you should follow your heart. They say my weakness is that I'm following my heart when investing in projects. And I should not do that. If the project makes money, is good enough. And I was telling them that, well, actually, you know, following your heart can be very smart. Also, when you're, for example, dating, looking for a great girl, your mind can say that, oh, she's beautiful and sexy and smart, so she's a good partner. But if you listen to your heart, it can be something very different. Huh? Do you listen to your heart, Sarah?
Sometimes.
When choosing your man?
Sometimes.
Or do you
Yeah,
only listen to
really.
your mind?
My heart.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's very good. So yeah, let's go to the next questions. Wait, let's see what other questions we have. Yeah, they're asking, what do you think about Petro? That's a cryptocurrency launched by the Venezuelan government. That's a contradiction in terminus. The idea of a cryptocurrency, you can't issue more of it, and that way the value goes up. But the government will always issue more of it. They can call it a crypto, but they will still issue more of it to put it in their pockets. So you can't trust governments with that. It's that's never gonna work. I don't know Dan Cupio. Air cages. Okay, let me see what other questions. If there's anything you want to say, my love, you can. Do you have something to say to the fans here? The followers. It's 87 people are watching.
Thank you guys for watching. Yeah, just that I don't have a lot of things to say today because, yeah, I just don't have much to say.
She doesn't have much to say. Who do you respect the most in the crypto world? I answered that. Robin says that he's stoned. Well, enjoy the high. Gratitude asks, Mark, do you think we are going to see Bitcoin 2000 and alts to zero? No, I don't think so. I think it's already it's already oversold, I think, at 3,000. But yeah, I do think it's reasonable to expect 2,000, but not 1,000. Crypto. Yeah, let's see what other questions. Robin asks, do you believe 9/11 was an inside job? Lol, yes, I do think that was an inside job. This channel is hilarious, says Undom. A Beautiful World says, does the huge price drop danger the BCH project in general? Well, of course, I do think that price leads everything. And so, first it's speculators pumping up the price, then it's miners increasing the hash power. Um, but of course, it's a feedback loop because the price can only be pumped when there's a developer that created something. So you first need a developer that creates something. So it's all a feedback loop. But price, I think, is very important. And of course, if the price continues to go down, the project will die. The feedback loop will go down. People will mine less, a lower hashing power, but also developers will leave, less developers. So it's very important to invest. And this is our job as investor to invest in projects that we believe in and that we want to really push upwards and where we want to see the developers to continue their work. And so this is actually very important that you choose the right projects. That's why I speak out about projects, why I speak my mind about Dash and about Monero, because these are all competing projects or Bitcoin BTC that also ask for and tempt people to invest in it. The question is this the right project to select compared to Bitcoin Cash? That's why I share my vision and opinion. I think it's very important to also invest in Bitcoin Cash to help the project. Gratitude. According to a research mind, doesn't think it is hard that does all the thinking. Sorry. Hello, Sarah, someone says here. Paul Murray says, hi, Sarah. Has Mark invited you to Belgium in January?
Not yet. Not yet, but I don't know. Maybe he's planning to.
Who knows? Who knows? Would you like to go to Belgium?
I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
Sarah is very happy in Africa now that she found me, she says.
Yeah, you just like, if you get the target, you don't have to okay, if I didn't meet him, maybe I will be in Belgium or maybe somewhere, I don't know. But I already got what I wanted, so I don't think it's necessary for me to go to Belgium or whatever. Like, he's here, I'm staying in Kenya. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it is. Gratitude says, hi, Sarah, bless you.
Hey.
All right, let's see what else we have here. Are you going to hold all of your Bitcoin Cash all the way down to $50? Yes, I will, of course. Yes. Martin Dillon says, Mark, do you think the inability of the Bitcoins to come to agreement on contentious issues will be like death by 1,000 cuts and the likes of Dash and Nano will come to the force or to the fore? No, I think it's very good that we have this. I didn't understand why it took so long for Bitcoin Cash to fork off Bitcoin BTC. In my opinion, it should have happened much sooner. I think it's a very good thing, and it's competition. I think that's the best thing we can have, and competition really brings out the best in people, in developers, in investors. You're really forced to be smart, and if you're not smart, you become irrelevant very quickly. So I think forking is just another way to compete with each other. I think it's genius because it recovers a lot of things. Like, I think that's very well done with Bitcoin Cash. Otherwise, Bitcoin, in my opinion, would go down the drain if forking was not possible. But now it forked, and now we have Bitcoin Cash, which is also Bitcoin, but it shows a different path than Bitcoin BTC. Bitcoin BTC chose to scale by implementing SegWit, and the day that it implemented SegWit, actually, that day or the day before, Bitcoin Cash forked off and did not implement SegWit, but raised the block size, and that way scaled on-chain. So now we have two Bitcoins, and even more now, but one of them scales on-chain. It's exactly what I wanted, and is also innovating, working on implementing assets on the blockchain, implementing privacy on the blockchain, keeping transaction fees low. So this is all. Such a Bitcoin exists, and that's what I love. that forking is possible and that I have the Bitcoin that I want to see and that I believe will succeed. But many others will succeed also and will find another segment. G420 says that I skipped over his statement, so yeah, you can repost it then. Um, oh, Pivix is a dash fork, someone says. I didn't know that. That's interesting to hear. Mantugo, hi Mark, greetings. Just here to say hello and then back to work. Hi Mantugo, nice to see you. Mark, I'm surprised you haven't sold all your assets in March. Well, I sold many coins, but indeed some coins I had bought with the buy and hold strategy, and so um, yeah, I couldn't sell it because I really want to stick to my strategy there, and I knew Bitcoin Cash and Byteball was highly overvalued, would go down a lot, but I still held it because yeah, it's a change in strategy. Buy and hold has big advantages during bull market. During a bear market, it's painful, but um, but the advantages come during a bull market and as if you expect something to go down a lot and it then goes down a lot, it's actually not painful. It's only when it goes down a lot and you didn't expect it that it's painful. So the buy and hold strategy is not even painful when you expect it to go down a lot. And I didn't get hurt actually much seeing my Bitcoin Cash that I still had and my Byteball go down with 90 or 95%. That didn't hurt me much. What hurted me was buying 3 weeks ago and thinking I buy the bottom and then seeing it collapse much more. That hurts a lot more. But the buy and hold brings great advantages when the bull market starts because, well, I pledge to never sell it and to use the crypto and that makes life a lot easier and will make me much more profits in the long term, even though in the short term now it does bring losses too. Uh, Adam asks if I had health problems in Africa. Small ones, yes. A blood infection that I catched, but it was healed. I mean, there are very good hospitals here, and the nice thing is you don't need insurance. It's just like normal prices. In Europe, it's all socialized, and so it's a mess. It's free, but not really fully free. But but actually, I like just very much to just pay my bills and choose wherever I want to go, and people really working for me instead of for the government. So I think healthcare is very good here. Um, Adam says, say hi to your love. That was it, guys. Thanks for all the questions. We've been talking 1 hour and a half. Um, yeah, so I think we can end it. Um, bear greed is getting real, almost like 20 key bull greed. It's true. People are getting afraid now, me included. Hi Mark, I try learning the financial market through your videos. Greetings from Nairobi, Kenya. I am taking a lunch break. Nice to see you. Martin Dillon says thanks. Thank you all, and have a great remaining day. And please share the video if you enjoyed it and if you think your friends may like it too. What, do you
Hi.
want to say something, maybe? Final words?
Final words.
Yeah. Maybe some dating advice for the guys, many
Oh,
guys
okay.
watching. How can they find a pretty girl like you?
I don't have any dating advice, but I just want to say, guys, I'm not a baby. I'm a very big lady. No, okay, I'm sorry. I know I'm not a baby. I'm more than 18 years old. It's just that I don't grow. Yeah, too bad. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching and thank you for following him, the ones who do. And always make sure you watch. Yeah. Um, uh, thank you, guys. I don't know what else to say.
Okay. She's 19, if you guys want to know. Eh?
Almost turning 20.
Almost in a
Yeah.
half year. Okay.
I'm
So,
almost turning 20. Yeah.
yeah. So she's a very big lady, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye bye. Thanks so much for joining. Have a great day and don't forget to buy your favorite crypto. Great prices. Bye. Let's put it off.